Welcome to part 4 of our Bowling for Soup Discography Tour. Today we're going to dive into their third full-length album, Let's Do It for Johnny, which, according to what I could find, is actually, the name of it is actually a reference to that line from the movie The Outsiders. This record marks an important piece of Bowling for Soup history, as this is their first album after getting signed to a record company. And at this point, Lance Morrill, who was the original drummer for the band, has left on good terms so that way he can focus on his family. And taking his place is their good friend, Gary Wiseman, who has now been their drummer ever since 1998. And Let's Do It for Johnny is the first recording to have Gary Wiseman on the drums. Now, an important thing to note is that before this release, the band released an EP called Tell Me When to Woe, which is made up completely of songs that you will also find on this album, except re-recorded. Now, the one exception is the song Soho, which was on Tell Me When to Woe, but on Let's Do It for Johnny it's absent, except in the Japanese and Australian versions as a bonus track. Now, Soho is a fun punk song, and in the song he sees a girl on a train and he's interested, but he doesn't say anything, and he ends up watching her walk right out the door. And by the end of the song, he's hoping that maybe she'll hear the song and know that it's about her, but he never actually took the chance to get her name. But he did memorize her face, and it's in his memory forever. And with that, let's get into Let's Do It for Johnny. First off, we have the song Sucker Punch. Have you ever had a time in your life where you got friend-zoned hardcore? Sucker Punch is about a girl who friend-zones the guy, but she keeps him around and introduces him to every new boyfriend that she gets. They're friends, she thinks he's super sweet, but doesn't want him to be anything more than a friend. But he still loves her, and every time they run through the cycle of her getting a new boyfriend, he feels like he's getting a sucker punch, which if you have ever experienced a sucker punch, it absolutely sucks. It knocks the wind out of you, and it's just awful. So this is a vivid expression of emotional pain. This is the first taste that we get of Gary's drumming. On previous records, Lance did a good job, but Gary's drumming really stands out here, and I think it completes the band's sound, bringing it full circle into the Bowling for Soup that we all know and love. Next up, we have the Bitch Song. The Bitch Song, to me, instrumentally, sounds like it could be an MXPX song, specifically from their Before Everything and After era. But Jarrett's vocals are the defining moment of this song. In the song, he pissed off his girlfriend. So she's not talking to him, and in true Bowling for Soup comedic style, he expresses, in his own opinion, that he thinks that she's a bitch, but he loves her anyway. Next up, we have Pictures He Drew. This song to me feels like an anthem for the outcast and the unwanted. When a person feels like they don't fit in and their life doesn't happen the way they thought it would. But this song is a reminder that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be a little weird. Life is going to be rough. It's alright to be yourself. Then we have the song Dance With You. In the song, he gets into a relationship that he wasn't looking for. The girl got past his emotional defenses and he ends up getting hooked. And by the end of the song, he only wants to be able to dance with her. Then in the song You and Me, it seems to me to be a breakup song. Almost. He wanted a simple answer to a question that he asked, but she responded by asking him to stay with her. They're locked in together and they feel that they have nothing to lose by staying together and trying to make it work. And for her, she just wants him to love her. Now, this is a great time to take a second and remind you that if you like this review or love Bowling for Soup and even just enjoy music history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and throw a comment down below. And after you subscribe and finish this video, to avoid being repetitive, the next 3 songs are re-recordings of the songs that were on the album Rock On Honorable Ones, and I did a lyrical review of them there. So go ahead and check that out after you finish this video, and I'll make sure to link to that below. But let's talk about these re-recordings a little bit. Let's start off with Scope. For this version of Scope, the bass is definitely bolder and is more upfront in its sound, and Jarrett's vocals sound fuller as well. The recording and mixing of the song has more clarity, and the instruments blend together better. The guitar instrumental, a little past halfway, does have a little less grit to it than the version on Rojo, but this version overall does sound better. Then on Valentino, for this version of Valentino, the guitar has a warmer sound in the beginning, and Jarrett's vocals, although not overly different here we are starting to hear him come closer to the tone of voice that we are more familiar with in the majority of records that people know. The instrumental halfway through definitely sounds better. The guitar is clearer, the drums are toned back a bit, and it all blends together much better than in the Rock On Honorable Ones version. Now, the third song of the re-recordings that they added onto here is Belgium. like I said in the last one, this is one of their most popular songs. For Belgium, we get a strong example of the difference in production. Instead of just having a drum intro, there are added sounds to give it a less edgy feel. The original version did feel a bit more punk, whereas this version is moving closer to that pop punk aesthetic. It doesn't really have a pop punk sound completely yet, but you can hear that they're moving in that direction. Now, this version doesn't have horns, which is actually too bad because I feel that the horn section in the Rock on Honorable Ones version of Belgium gave it a happier sound and it felt a little more upbeat. Both versions are very good though. Next we have Andrew. Now, getting into this song, we get a fun drum beat at the beginning followed by a really neat driving guitar riff before Jarrett's vocals come powering in, singing about coming from nothing and making it as a rock star, where the other person in the song, who I'm assuming is Andrew, had the coolest clothes and the coolest car, but in the end, for Andrew, it all came crashing down, regardless of all the money and cool things that he had. Then in Boulevard, Jarrett is falling in love. He can't wait to kiss her, and he can tell by the way that she laughs that he likes her too. And he offers for them to run away and never look back because he just wants to be with her and plans to tell her as they dance on the boulevard. Next up is Hang On. The song Hang On is a breakup song. The girl is hanging on and it's driving him insane. Things started out really well. She would come and watch the band play and things were going fantastic. But at this point, it's not working out and he just wants her to stop hanging on to the relationship. Now, moving into Summer of '69. The second to last song is a cover of Bryan Adams' song Summer of '69. And Bowling for Soup, as I've said in previous videos, they do an excellent job of doing covers, and eventually down the road they do a cover album of movie and TV show songs. And this cover of Summer of '69 has the Bowling for Soup flair and gives a fun little edge to the song that people already know and love. The final song, All Figured Out. Now, this song sounds quite country at the very beginning of the song, and even though we do get some punk-sounding guitars, there is a definitive country sound throughout the whole song. This song seems to be quite tongue-in-cheek, in my opinion. He's declaring that he was wrong and that he has shit for brains and that he screwed up a lot, but she ends up just shaking her head and loves him anyway. But it does feel like he's being quite sarcastic throughout. It's a neat, catchy tune and a fun way to end the record. Overall, Let's Do It for Johnny has the cleanest production quality of all their studio recordings up to the date of this release. The recordings were mixed a little better and overall had a fuller, warmer sound and more layers added into it. It's a good, fun listen, definitely worth the 45 minutes. You should go check it out and then leave a comment down below what you think. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and remember to join us this Friday for our weekly live stream. It's always a lot of fun. Next week, we'll be covering the next studio album from Bowling for Soup, Drunk Enough to Dance, which has their Grammy-nominated song, Girl All the Bad Guys Want. So we'll see you then, have a good week, and thank you for joining.